All right, guys, welcome back to the Late Night Level Up with your host, Jason Farrell. With me, as always, my man, 50 grand, Roger Corbin, Boss Fight Division. Got a new Instagram handle,
Yeah, we're Azul Titan now. We had to
Azul
drop the
Titan.
numbers, man. We had to drop the numbers.
Yeah, what made you decide to change it?
So like branding is like a big part of like when you're starting like to make content and all that other stuff out. So you want to be the same name everywhere you go. And the
Find something
Titan,
you have for good.
yeah,
Yeah,
So like the Titan was obviously what I wanted to just be, like just plain and simple, but you can't get that. So you either like start playing with the name, the numbers in the names, or you put a number on the end of it. So I've been the 18 for about 6 years now, but I've never been the 18 across everything.
yeah,
So like when I play certain video games, I have to change my name. And my backup has always either been Azure Titan or Azul Titan,
yeah,
which have, like normally are always available. So I just took the one that I have available everywhere, and just went with Azul Titan, which is a Spanish for Blue Titan, so it works
yeah.
out.
I got you. I know a little bit of Spanish.
Espanol.
Not as much as I'd like to know. I definitely
I'm
need
st-
you brush up on your.
I brush up a lot, but I'm
Yeah,
nowhere near like where I should be for the amount of years that I've been practicing.
yeah.
you
Do
know,
you now? I couldn't remember. Were you doing it for work or just
oh
a
no,
habit?
just personal things, and I kind of enjoy their culture uh,
Yeah, me
a
too.
lot. So I plan on hopefully COVID permitting. I'm gonna hit out to Colombia sometime this year.
Yes, that's awesome. I really love Mexico. Aaron and I have been down there twice now. We went to Mexico City, which I really liked.
Mhm.
Um, did we talk about Mexico City before? I feel
I
like you
don't
and
think
me
so.
did one time.
I
But
think
anyways,
before on a trip, yeah.
so yeah, probably in person. But yeah, so Mexico City, I feel like like I knew it um from like movies and stuff like that, and like
Right,
in the way
yeah.
people talk about it, it's like you're gonna get your head chopped off, and it's like this crazy like seedy place or something. I don't,
Yeah.
I feel like people things are portrayed so differently than what they actually are,
They're
and
portrayed 20 years ago,
right, that could be it too. Yeah, maybe
and that
like
it's things change, people change, whole
things
groups
definitely
have been
change.
disbanded. Like it's a growing thing. To be honest, like Colombia was a place that I couldn't go to for the last 5 years
Yeah,
until like every periodically they do an update. I'm like, all right, like how bad is it really? And now it's
yeah.
fine.
It was on a list for
Yep,
your military. They wouldn't let you go down
correct.
there. Thought somebody was gonna snatch you up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Mexico City was dope. Like, uh, one of my favorite places that we've been to. We've been to some pretty cool places traveling to fight. For those that don't
Mm,
know, my wife is a Muay Thai and kickboxing
monster.
competitor. Yeah, she's pretty badass. So we were down in Mexico City for a tournament for IFMA Muay Thai tournament, and we both loved it down there. It's a really pretty city. They have a lot of like modern art everywhere. So it has like a Wakanda vibe kind of almost, which is
Mm,
kind of strange because it's in Mexico, but
yeah.
I'm telling you, like it feels like aliens were there a long time ago, and it's very heavily influenced on like their visit kind of like
Yeah.
it's got like this like modern vibe going on to it a little bit. It was really cool. We liked Mexico City a lot. We were there for I think almost 2 weeks. Um, and I
It's a
mean, they
good
had
time.
Uber Eats. They had you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all the
No,
stuff that we
this
have here.
it's like, they're not missing out on much.
No. And they actually like the Walmarts down there are like a place like we went there and we were like, damn, Walmart's dope. Like they had like I have like we have a weird Walmart situation here because our Walmart's right nearby where I'm at here in Bowie, Maryland
Mm,
are terrible.
yeah.
But I feel like they're actually all right, like everywhere else in the world. So I have this like weird view of Walmart, and then when I go to Walmart other places, I'm always like, damn, Walmart's actually all right. But anyways, yeah. So Mexico City was dope. We talked about we talked about maybe one day even moving there.
Yeah.
Um,
And
because
honestly, like,
cost of living is nice. And
after I retire, I probably won't be staying in the States. But, we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah,
Let's go someplace where my retirement can like actually be a retirement, because it
stretch
doesn't
your
work.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Randomly, I haven't looked too much more into it, but I got a random email job offering from some kind of like university or something down there, where they're like offering me a job to come down there and run like a Muay Thai program
Nice.
for youths. And they're offering a lot of money too.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I was like, maybe I
Somebody's
should just
lining stuff up for
yeah. I
you.
was like, it's a 2-year commitment. I'm so bad at reading my emails, and Aaron actually spotted it in the emails and was like, "Hey, did you see this?" And I'm like, "Is that real?" Because it seems like one of those,
Like, yeah,
we get those
printed
weird scams,
scams. Yeah.
and a lot of other gym owners will be with me on this one. We actually get emails from everybody does, like everybody I know that owns a gym gets this same one. So
Hmm.
it's this like wealthy parent who's like bedridden,
Hmm.
and they want to pay for private training for their 2 kids. And so it's very common. It's a very common
Yeah.
scam. Uh, but they can only pay by credit card, and they're going to hire a driver to bring the kids here. And they're like, "What's your fee?" And they want to pay for like a crazy amount of them up front. And like, it's like, and then
It's really
anyways, they're but it's a credit card scam. So basically what
yeah.
they're trying to get you to do is run up like thousands of dollars on the credit card. They want me to charge it. And
Hmm.
then they're like the only problem is the driver doesn't accept credit card. Is there any way that you could take the extra money, uh like charge the extra money to myself, and then pay the driver when they
When
come
they
and
get
get
there.
here? And
Yeah.
of course the driver's going to come one day before, because they got to make sure they get paid first. So
Hmm.
basically I would be on the hook for like 5 grand, and I would give probably the person running the thing, they're going to pull up one day and just grab 750 in cash from me, and then you're the one that
You
gets
just,
stuck
yeah.
holding the bag. Little do they know I'm the wrong one. But yeah, so I obviously was like, I felt, like I said, because Aaron reads the emails, like the first time she read through it, she was like, did you see this? This is kind of crazy. And I was like, yeah, it's a scam. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, they're trying to get us to steal money from somebody else's credit card. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a sneaky one. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, Mexico City, it was dope. We went to Cancun for a tournament as well. I didn't really dig Cancun as much.
Mm.
But I'm not like a partier. I don't want to like
Yeah.
get crazy and go drink and
We're the same
wake up
type
on
of
the
person
beach in
in
the
that point.
morning.
Yeah.
We did take a bus to Tulum while we were there, and Tulum was really cool. They had the ruins and the beach and everything down there. But yeah, so Mexico is awesome, man. I could definitely see myself. We talked about Aaron's originally from California, so we've talked a bunch about eventually moving out that way. I've always wanted to move to San Diego, which would still be fairly close to LA where she's from, so she could be closer to her family. But California is like a crazy place to live right now. And I think a
Mm.
lot of people that live in California are like moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah,
My
maybe
sister's
not.
out there, so yeah,
Yeah.
I get firsthand information.
Yeah, it's rough. They've had a rough time with all the COVID stuff. There's been some. It's been even. Oh, there goes that light again.
A
Come on, bitch. God damn. Like that's how you know I'm a real ninja. The lights
like
don't
in the
even the
room,
lights
yeah.
don't even recognize me.
Drac has nothing on you.
Yeah. Like it can't even see
See
me.
it. Shouts out to Batista.
Yeah, man. Well, that'd be cool if we could get him on one day. He's so good in that role, man. I love that role.
It's written for him, some would say.
Have I ever told you the story of the first time I saw that movie?
No.
Man, the most epic experience I think I've ever had going to a movie in general, and then on top of it, it was to see Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll give you guys a rundown real quick of this. I love to tell the story because I feel like it's such a cool one. But so it was the gym's maybe second anniversary of being open. We've always had really cool weekends on the anniversary of the gym for some reason. There's always a lot of stuff going on. Which is with the first weekend of August. The 1st of August was like we really opened in like June, but August 1st was like the day that we announced that we were, like officially opening up. So that year we had Jared and Pat both fighting online fight, which was a big deal back then. Roger fought online fight too. I got to put that clip up one day since it's pretty quick. Roger mauled some giant guy very quickly in
always
round
trying to
one.
kick me in the face, man.
Yeah, man. He made a mistake. We'll have to put that clip up on here. So they both fought online fight. We were the first gym to get online fight from the DMV area. Shout out to us for kind of opening that door. And so that was a big deal in general. Pat had fought on there once already, and then we had both of them on there for this time. It was their second East Coast show that they had ever done. There was like a really good fight card. Actually, my friend June Sitmonchai was supposed to be fighting on the card as well for a title, and he had some visa issues and ended up not being able to come. But Kevin Ross, who had also spent a bunch of time out at Sitmonchai as well, came out, had already like got a plane ticket and all that stuff, basically to come see June fight, and then obviously the fight fell through. But he hit me up. We had just left weigh-ins, and I get a text, and I didn't have his number in my phone. I still don't really even know how he got my number. Well, yeah, it was kind of crazy because obviously I would have had him locked into my phone if I had Kevin Ross's number. So I get this text. I forget exactly what it said, but he just like asking a question about something, and then I was like, "Who is this?" And he was like, Kevin Ross. And I'm like, oh my God.
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And so I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm here. He's like, I just got in. What are you guys up to? And I was like, I'm thinking like, I'm just going to offer because I don't want to be rude because I know he doesn't have a vehicle because I would just always drive up there so we could be able to move around. I was like, we're going to dinner if you want to come. And I'm thinking he's going to be like, nah, I just got off the plane. I'm tired, but thanks or whatever. He's like, cool, I'll go. And I'm like, oh, so I hit up, I asked Jared and Pat, I'm like, I know obviously their answer are going to be like, well, yeah. I'm like, hey, you guys want to go pick up Kevin and go to and bring him to dinner with us? And they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, he said, I'll come meet with us. So we went and scooped him up from the hotel, and we went. So every time we went out there, we went and ate at this hibachi place. We went there too, right? Yeah.
The ritual.
Yeah, you got to follow the ritual because we've had some really good showings online fights. I didn't want to fuck with that. So we went out to this hibachi place. It was really good. Pretty, I think like 5 or 10 miles from the hotel. And then there's a movie theater right down the road from there that's got the big leather reclining seats and just super nice. Yeah, really fancy. It looks like a regular ass theater from the outside, but then you get inside and you're like, holy shit. We went there the first time we went to we fought there first. I forget what we saw then. I think it was like an X-Men movie or something. And then so we were like, yeah, we got to go back to that theater. It was awesome. And then it just happened to be that Guardians dropped that weekend.
Nice.
And it was crazy because I wasn't super excited to see Guardians because it wasn't a comic I read or anything like that.
Right.
And at the time, that was like the first one. I was like, all right, this is going to be the one where Marvel like kind of drops the ball a little bit. Like how good could this really be, you know?
Yeah.
And then again, funny thing is, so we're about to leave dinner and I'm thinking like, all right, we'll go drop Kevin off and then shoot over
Going
to the
back to
theater. And he's like, what are you guys up to now? And I was like, we were gonna go see Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was like, if you want, we can drop you off, and then he's like, I'll roll with you. I'm thinking, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he don't want to go to the movies. He's like, he's probably like, you fucking nerds, like. But yeah, he was like, yeah, let's go. So I was like, oh shit, all right. And then on top of it, we get there, and he bought us all tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
I mean,
right.
it's super cool, man. Yeah, it was. I took care of dinner because that's like another ritual I usually try to follow on the weigh-in days. We go have a good meal and like try to keep it stress free and just focus on the fight the next day. So yeah, he was super nice and took care of the movie ticket. So yeah, and then on top of all that movie ended up being phenomenal. I mean, that's
Yeah.
still I think still up there in my like top 3 even of like favorite Marvel movies. And I think it was because I still didn't really expect it to be so good. It just kind of caught me off guard. But like the soundtrack, they had like, I feel like that was the first funny one that was like really funny. I
Mhm.
feel like they always try to like put some humor in there, and a lot of it for me always misses in some of those movies when they're like trying to be funny. I feel like it's like a little over the top, but that movie was like hilarious. It had a lot of heart. I mean, the opening scene literally like hits you straight in the feels. His mom's dying, and then it looks like something out of ET. Like that
He
movie's,
just gets abducted. Yeah.
yeah, that movie. You're just like, what? Like it's a second, like 10 seconds into that movie, I was sucked in. So yeah, so the first time we saw Guardians was with Kevin Ross on weigh-in night at Line Fight, and then on top of it, they both won that weekend too. So it was a really solid.
That's
Another quick funny
yeah.
story. At dinner, so for people that know, Kevin Ross is like really great with sweeping people in fights, and Pat is also. And at dinner, Pat was like, I'm gonna hit this sweep. He's like, I'm gonna hit this sweep for you. And it was hilarious because like the whole couple first rounds, like he was winning the fight anyway, but you could tell he was like trying to get it, and then he gets it. He gets the sweep. He catches the left kick, pulls it across, and like dumps this guy. We have an awesome photo. I'll pop it up on here. Awesome photo of it. Uh, and he runs, like he was like on the other side of the ring. He like runs over and looks at Kevin. Kevin's like, he's like, I see you, man. Finish this fool. You know what I mean? Like he was like, yeah, you got it. He's like, all right, stay focused, stay focused. Pat was just super excited that he told him he was gonna do it, and he did it. And
Nice.
yeah, that was an awesome fight. It was just like one of those really memorable weekends all around. And then so I think that's also the reason why the Guardians movie like ranks up there with me too, because I got some personal connection with that first time seeing it.
It goes. Marvel hasn't missed yet. I
No,
don't think.
man. Again, people thought that Wanda was going to be it, and that was not it either.
Nope.
Everyone's feeling it now. Apparently, they're saying the last 3 episodes are all going to be an hour each.
Really?
I don't believe it. I think they're lying.
I thought it was the longest one they hit us with was like 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, and it was still like a 10-minute recap in the beginning and like
Yeah.
15 minutes of credits. So
Uh,
I don't believe it.
like
I'll believe it when I see it.
that's those
Because
are
I
movies. That's a short.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what apparently the thing that I read was it was from Feige, but again, I still don't believe it. He was like the last 3 episodes are like a full on movie, because I guess they're saying that this is supposed to usher in the next phase. Like all the
Yeah.
stuff that happens here is what's gonna kind of change what happens over the next few movies. And I mean, I hope they're all an hour each. That's
I
what
mean,
I
that'd be
thought.
awesome.
I thought like Mandalorian. I thought all these things were going to be an hour long. So that's why when they started announcing all these things, I was like, hell yeah, we're going to get like 8-9 hours of like these are
Star
like
Wars, yeah. Bring it
long
out.
movies basically. And then they started coming with the 30-minute shit. And I'm not complaining because it's always like the Mandalorian's all, but I mean they could 100% do an hour,
Yeah.
and whatever they put on the screen I feel like would be entertaining. And I guess I don't know. I guess the episodes that they've shown us so far, they didn't really need to be an hour. I mean, I still think they should have. I still think that we've talked about this like 10 times.
Mm,
I still think they should have put this whole thing out. But I guess it makes sense if these last 3 episodes really are an
they're
hour
done.
long,
Yeah.
then okay, then the last 3 are going to be, they must have some shit going
I'll
on.
take
They
that.
must,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the first what they released the first 2 out at once, so that's pretty
yeah,
much an hour there.
yeah,
You know, if they would have tacked on that 3rd episode, they probably wouldn't have lost anyone if
yeah.
they lost anybody at all.
I
But
agree.
but then we're at an hour and 30 minutes of whatever time.
So now I'm thinking, okay, if you if you're gonna do the last 3 all an hour, why not combine episode 1 and 2 and episode 2 and 3,
Mm,
right? You know what I
yeah,
mean? And then
right.
and
And
4 and
just
5, and then do these last 3 and just make them all an hour long. You know, I feel like, I don't know. What do I know?
turn the whole thing into a movie. All
God
right,
damn it! Yeah,
just bundle it all
put
together.
it all out.
Yeah.
I just want to know what happens.
And
I
the hang up for the last episode, I was thinking, it was like, I can't be good. That's not a
Yeah.
good thing.
Which part?
The expansion is what I'll call it for now.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yes. And I want to know if Vision's dead.
I don't think so.
I don't
I don't
think
think
so
so at
either,
all.
right?
Because
Like,
they purposely saw it overgoing his body and his body like coming back.
yeah,
So
she
I
just
don't
doesn't
think.
want him let him out.
And
'Cause he was
honestly,
like
that
disintegrating when he came through there.
he
Spoiler alert.
there you go. But at the same point, like the question, is Vision dead, is weird because we don't know Vision's alive.
Right.
Like Vision may only exist in like her realm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is so like when if this thing comes down,
Like, do we get Vision back like in the
right?
universe?
That's
Or
what I'm curious about.
yeah.
And I didn't pick up on before. I guess they had his body because they were sword at his body because they were hoping to fire him back up and make him into a weapon.
Possibly.
So if that's the case, like, you fucked up. Like, why would you know? Like, you pissed her off in the first place. Then if
But
you were planning
yeah.
on doing that, because they're saying that he didn't want to be brought back in either way.
Mm.
So yeah. So now also, I'm starting to think that because everyone thinks that Mephisto or Nightmare, because they're trying to set up, stuff for Doctor Strange. Now I'm starting to think if Mephisto is in there, it might be the brother. Because of that commercial. Because that commercial, all the other commercials have been like about something. Like the Paper Towels one was obviously about when she accidentally killed the people in Lagos, and they had the first one with the Stark Tech stuff, which was obviously about the bomb taking out her parents and stuff. And all of them have been about some. And then this one was like this weird,
it was dark
yogurt commercial, where the kid dies. And I'm trying to figure it out. So then and that, like, the shark, I feel like it's kind of like supposed to be a representation of like they're giving something to Wanda to like keep her attention while they like
go off
feed off of her, kind of. So like I'm like, okay, so that's what's going on? Maybe like whoever the villain is, if it's if they're gonna make
like
it be a villain for Doctor Strange, and it's like Mephisto or Nightmare or something like that, they're like assisting keeping her in there and trying to keep her entertained so they can somehow feed off of her.
So someone had to jumpstart it because she doesn't know how it started.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So like that, as far as like where the mastermind, that's the only place so far in the episodes that like it lies.
Yes.
And my another concern I have like with the expansion of things is people on the outskirts of town are like not wired up. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people just kind of like stuck in motion. So with it being bigger, like how many more people are just going to
That
end
she
up like that?
control. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's fucked up. And
So
and you feel bad for those people now, huh? Yeah, because they're like being
yeah,
tortured.
this is when the tears dropped. I was like, I don't know how long you can do this before
Yeah,
like
they're like glitching out.
so yeah. But this is, on the other parts of that episode, you know, it was a Halloween theme. We got to see some pretty original costumes.
That was cool. I especially hers. I feel like it was funny how nice they made hers look really authentic and like how she looks in the comics. That's how she looks.
Yeah.
And then and Vision kind of did, but then they put him in some like yellow Muay Thai trunks too. It's like what the hell? How they do my man like that?
That's the only thing he had in his closet.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it was still yeah, it was still cool to see him look like that.
yeah.
And Quicksilver
Quicksilver's been
with
his stuff.
with the
Yeah.
lightning bolt or whatever going across. That was pretty cool. And the funny hair.
Yeah. I'm like kind of off the show. Like I am not taking his Quicksilver in the universe as easily as I took the first one.
Yeah.
Which is like I don't know, like his Quicksilver from X-Men, perfectly fine. But like
Yeah.
that same character put into like this situation, it
Yeah,
feels
it
like
doesn't
it's kind
fit.
of like it's yeah, it's like it's not mixing right.
No, it doesn't fit. And that's why I think we talked about this a little bit before. I definitely liked that I liked that Quicksilver better of the two, but yeah, in that universe, it doesn't fit into this one. You're right about that. And that's why I do think I have a feeling he's gonna turn out to be like
Someone else.
Mephisto or
Yeah.
somebody. He's gonna like another tool because things are starting to crack up a little bit, and now he shows up. Like it's almost like whoever's viewing this stuff and trying to keep it going, whoever is like assisted
It's
the
going,
beginning of
yeah.
this is like,
If
all
you
right,
need
shit, what
help,
else? Let's throw the brother in there. That'll be another way to like keep
who's
her going.
aware of everything that he was not even around for,
Mm-hmm.
which is like people are glancing over.
Yeah, so I think he's in there somehow. He knows I think he might be whoever the other bad guy or part working for them in some form or not. But yeah, so I guess
Right.
we'll get some more answers. I think so there's 3 episodes left. Um allegedly an hour long.
Right.
We'll see it. We'll believe it when we see it. Yeah. And not a lot of stuff to go on this week. We normally have a bunch of different topics. We watched the Judas and the
Judas and
Black
the Black
Messiah
Messiah.
movie. That's a heavy one, man. That was a heavy movie. I
I
already
needed to
knew how it
wash
was going to
afterwards.
end basically because I'm I knew how it was going to end. I know how Fred Hampton was assassinated, unfortunately, and it's one of those things where for me at least, when you watch these movies that are based off of true stories like that, and I still have this like random weird hope, like all right, maybe he'll get out of there.
Right.
He doesn't. Obviously, he
Yeah.
doesn't. Unless
But
it
you
was,
want like it's the desire
yeah, you
for it.
want it. I think uh, Inglorious Bastards, unless they like pull in Quentin Tarantino and
Yeah.
like we're just gonna kill Hitler. Like this is how we saw it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I would like to when I make movies one day, I would like to remix history like that somehow. Or
Alternate
he did it
endings.
with
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too, and he had Sharon survive the thing, and the killers got their ass whipped by Brad Pitt. That was dope too. But yeah, this was a tough ending.
Yeah.
They made it if they made it feel real, like
This she sold that last part, you know? Like
yeah,
because that's a situation to be in, you know, like where you're
yeah,
sitting here is like helpless
Man.
for the safety of, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know how, as a person, like, she mentally survived that.
Right. Yeah, they sued the Cook County police, and they won like a $1.85 million settlement for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
Um I mean, you can't put a
Price.
price on,
Yeah.
especially somebody like Fred Hampton, who was like, he was like a powerful part of the movement. Yeah. I was really looking forward to the movie because I feel like I like to learn more, because obviously it's not stuff that we're really taught. It's like
Yeah.
that's like information that we have to
Let's go out
look
and
out
get.
for on our own. So I was looking forward to the movie. I have a buddy of mine on Facebook. We've never met in life, but we're friends on Facebook. Charlie Hustle. He had he had a good retrospect on it, where he was saying he was happy that they, like in other movies similar to this,
Mhm.
like a Donnie Brasco or like a Goodfellas or whatever, they kind of make you like the snitch,
Yeah.
the character who's like working for the cops, and they didn't do that with Bill O'Neill, which I'm glad they didn't, because fuck that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes. So like like after like true stories and whatnot, there's always gaps in the movies that leave you with the desire to go immediately to Google and be like, all right, like what was this and what was that? And
Yeah.
for me, it was like because they put in there like committed suicide. I was like, was it suicide? Or
Right.
did you legit like did this come out and something happened? But
Yeah.
like you look through and like there are multiple, like you look through the history and there are multiple attempts of him like trying to kill himself. So it's like
Yeah.
the movie kind of let you, the movie and his interview kind of was like, I just kind of I lived it, and it doesn't
Right.
bother me at all. But like it has to like it had to.
Yeah.
So, and like to see that he did have like multiple attempts of like taking his own life, I was like, all right, like he talked a certain way, and I'm just assuming that the entire time in the back of his mind, and that one scene he had with him and himself in the film
Yeah.
kind of captured like it, something that you should struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, like, as just a human being, such an important part of history, like, he affected things in a really negative way, like what he was
Right.
doing. So, yeah, you almost, I mean, for me, you almost like wish that secretly, like, they got to him. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
like, oh man, I hope they fucking
like
somebody got a
right.
hold of his ass. But yeah, I'm sure
That or
the
5 years
weight
in
of it
prison,
caught up
man.
to him
Like,
at some
yeah,
point. Yeah.
like
Um,
it's this. I get it, 5 years, like, but like compared to how much time like some people serve, like 5 years to destroying four people or being like a direct cause for like four people dying.
yeah.
I just hindsight's
Piece of
20.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a piece of shit.
that was your crime. Nobody made you do that.
Right. That's the thing, man. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, I was a bit of a knucklehead growing up, and got into a lot of trouble as a kid, and actually got arrested, and as a teenager was charged as an adult for some stuff, and um did a little bit of time. But the crazy thing is, the thing that I actually got, like, what was on my record is expunged now, because I was able to get way back down to a juvenile, and obviously I've turned things around since then. But yeah. But the crazy thing was, the thing that was on my record at the time was something that I didn't do, and um probably could have, like, said, well, this person, that person, this person, and maybe even gotten a shorter time. I was away for a couple years, which is a lot when you're 16.
Right.
uh but just never, I've never had that in me, you know. This fucking light. Come on. Yeah, so I don't have any sympathy for that guy at all. I just feel like, yeah. Yeah, like exactly what you said. No one made him do that crime. The way I saw it, when I was getting in trouble and doing dumb shit, and I pretty much knew at some point I was gonna probably end up like that, or even dead maybe. So, you know, you got to deal with it. You got to take it on the chin. And I think unfortunately a lot of people don't do that, and would ruin somebody else's life, and in a case like this, even get somebody's life taken.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully hopefully a lot of people watch this movie,
It's a
because
good one.
it was
I
done
think
well.
out of all the ones that we've like reviewed on the show so far, I definitely think it's the best one that we watched.
I agree, because we were talking a little bit about uh not really, or at least for me, um feeling like some of these movies that I was excited about, that they're going right to, like Wonder Woman, The
Right.
Little Things, Outside the Wire. Like there was like a string of movies that came out that I was kind of like, it was all right, you know. But this is one that's like, okay, yeah, I'm glad. I was
This is
excited about
cool.
it. You know, it's a heavy movie, so if you're not in the mood for that,
Right.
you know, maybe not for you. But I think it's an important movie to watch, and for people that don't know the story, it's good information for
Educational.
people to
Yeah.
have. Yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know. I feel like we probably will usually stick to more comic book and that type of.
Yeah, yeah.
But in
Like I
these
said,
times, I've you
there
know, there's certain things only coming out, and I this is in my opinion, like, and I'm obviously you feel the same. This was an important movie for people to see, and I'm definitely glad that it's not one that they decided to hold off on um, in the theater, because I feel like this is one that I feel like these types of movies that are important like this a lot don't get the same push either. So
right.
they like come and go in the movie theater, and then if they have a quiet release in the movie theater, sometimes sneak on, you know, into iTunes and
Secret.
stuff
Yeah.
like that quiet too. So then it's like you have to kind of discover them. So
I
uh
honestly like it's just, they use actors to drive these movies more than they
mhm,
do like pushing it out publicly.
yeah.
Because there was Michael B. Jordan, the
Uh-huh.
his last like the lawyer film that he
No,
had. I think.
Mercy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
love that
Right.
movie.
So it's like, but like I imagine a lot of
And Jamie
people like
Foxx was in that too. Yeah.
if you take those two names out, people probably wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah.
You know,
And Captain Marvel was in that.
right?
Yeah. That one was really good. That was a really good one too. Yeah. Mercy. You guys should check that one out too. If you're looking for something to hit you in the feels a little bit, these are
Gotcha.
two good ones for sure. So we also have, moving on to a little bit lighter of a subject.
Yeah, let's
Um
bring the spirits up.
we had UFC was on last night. You know, try to cover some fight stuff on here obviously too, since that's the world that we came from. Um I think biggest crazy thing to happen last night, Rodolfo Vieira was submitted by Hernandez. Man, the odds on that happening, betting odds were 30-1. So if you'd have
Jeez,
bet $100 just for the hell of it, that like, I'm gonna just put $100 on him submitting Vieira, you'd have won 3 grand.
jeez.
Yeah, pretty dope. But listen,
Right?
nobody made that bet. I guarantee.
This is not a single
Maybe some
person.
people from Alpha Male, they just like are like, man, he.
Like, what's the
But
craziest way?
like,
Yeah.
and if like, because so he Rodolfo went after him, was attacking submissions, attacking takedowns and stuff like that. And Hernandez, you know, got through all that stuff and then just started just tagging him, elbows, knees, punches, everything. And then I'm curious if he like told his team like, man, if I get this dude hurt, I'm gonna submit him just to like prove a point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I drop him and he's like knocked out, I'm gonna try to like slide in on an armbar real quick just so I can say I submitted
Stack
Rodolfo
that on.
Vieira.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
then those people might have put some money on the 30-1. Like, damn, man, can you imagine? That's such a good come up. But that was a big. The Rodolfo 7-1 in MMA, won the ADCC in, I think I might have, yeah,
2015.
2015. Yep. I saw him win I was there at Worlds, IBJJF Worlds in California in 2011 when he won his weight and the absolute. Uh, so I think they say he's a 4-time, but he's a 4-time, like 4 years. I
Mhm.
think 11, 12, 13, 14, and then, but also in 11 won the absolute too, meaning he went against everybody in every weight at that.
Right.
So this, I mean, he's like one of the best jiu-jitsu players of all time. So yeah, that was like a crazy thing, you know. It was, and a lot of people have been making this comparison that was likened to Khalil Roundtree knocking out Gokhan Saki.
Right.
Because you're like, nobody's thinking that somebody's gonna knock out Gokhan Saki in MMA. Although, more likely, I think sometimes than a grappler getting submitted by an MMA fighter. I feel like because
Right.
knockouts can happen with the little gloves on at any
Yeah.
time. Um, and that was the Saki one was such a bummer because you know how it happened. He didn't post on a low kick, and we talk about that all the time here at
We
Level Up,
do.
baby.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things we really, really stress. I tell my people all the time, and you know, have people that when they're first kind of getting linked up with us, especially if they've trained a little bit anywhere else, and they're like, "Well, what if?" I'm like, "Nope.
Nope.
You train here. You post when you
You
low kick.
post.
If you get knocked out throwing a low kick on my team, I will throw you off the team. That's my only rule."
And that is why it was ingrained in here.
Yeah, man, you better put that hand in their face.
You're an instant highlight reel, man. Like
Instant.
that's
And it looks so you go down hard because you're on one foot. So it was just a bad look. And the
yep.
post the post doesn't cost you anything. Put your hand in their face. Make sure you're good.
This is what I sent you. I sent you a post about that like 2 days
Dude,
ago.
you know what's funny? I get more videos about that than anything else. Like I like so because anybody that knows me at all or is trained with me at all, even people that don't train with me all the time, like send me videos like, yo, look at this guy, he got knocked out for not posting. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just proving my point, damn it. I know.
Like you
And
could,
then
or you could look at the history and evidence here.
yeah,
Let me show you. Let me show you
you
the
know what
chart.
I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna make I'll do like an instructional on it or something about why we do it, and then I'll just make a little highlight of all the people getting knocked out, not posted, just to
Right.
drive it home.
Easy work.
Easy work. Yeah, and then in the main event we had Usman and Burns. Man,
Oof.
that was a big one. There's a big build up to this fight because they were former teammates, uh, both trained at the under Henry Hoof down in Florida with
Yeah.
our friend Ong La and Sung.
Hey.
Um, shout out to Ong.
Burpees.
So
Hi,
they've been training together for a long time. Since Burns. So Burns was a lightweight before at 155, and then he had a
pulled
tough
up to
loss and
170.
came up, and they've been, you know, sparring partners, training partners for a while. And then they made this fight a while back, and Burns got COVID, so they nixed it, and um, that was when Usman ended up fighting um
What's his
Masvidal.
name?
I think that was
Yeah, I was going
all.
to say.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah. I
know,
was trying
it
to think
started with
it.
an M. It
I knew it
started
was
with an M. I
Masvidal. I
knew
was
that.
trying to think if that. Yeah, it was like a weird whirlwind of events that Masvidal took it. They were able to get it that fast. But anyways,
Mm.
so yeah, and lot of lot of um people thinking that Burns had a really good chance because the way that Usman fought Masvidal in their last fight, he so them two have obviously, as you can see, Usman right away after this fight went right at Masvidal on,
Yeah.
on the mic. They still have some animosity towards each other. They were talking big shit to each other for a long time, even before they had a fight lined up. And then the opportunity came up. Masvidal took it on short notice.
It was like 6 days or something like that.
Yeah, Usman was able to get it done in a very tactical way. Clenched him, tied him up, didn't do a lot of striking, a lot of foot stomping.
Yeah.
Not the fight that the fans wanted for sure. I'd be lying if I told you I like that fight. Obviously, I'm a striking coach. Striking is what I love. That's what I wanted to see, those two. But you can't, if Usman's my fighter, I'm telling him to do the same thing. Obviously,
right.
Get the win, buddy.
Punch the thigh,
But
man.
I think he had a lot of people not really on board with him, and Gilbert's been crushing people, and he's been knocking people out. He's a monster.
Yeah. No.
So Usman made the move over to train with another good buddy of mine, Trevor Whitman, who I think at this point is fairly safe to say the best striking MMA, maybe even just full on MMA coach in the game right now. He's brought up Rose Namajunas. He had Shane Carwin back in the day. Justin Gaethje, who's was an interim champion, has been tearing people up, and now he's got Kamaru. And I've actually trained with Trevor. Not to make myself sound like I'm anybody special, but I feel like of all the people that of all the people that I've worked with, our approach to things is I find a lot of similarities in his approach to things, footwork stuff that he uses, combinations that he likes, even like even small stuff about where to put the hand when you're throwing your lead hook. Like he's the only other person that's said the same way that I like to do it too. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to work with him at Coach Kirian of CSA's coaches clinics a couple times, and just a master of the game. Also is the founder and puts all the stuff together for the Onyx gloves. He's got the mitts and custom pads and stuff like that too. He like hand makes all this stuff. Yeah, he's on another level, man. He's very smart, really boxing centric. So I think that's obviously what another reason why the way we do things and the way we do things are similar too, because that's the basis of all of our stuff here at Level Up. We have a very boxing centric approach to everything, and yeah, kept it simple. Had Kamaru just jabbing the shit out of Burns, which is another thing that I'm always like, I tell all our guys that plan to do MMA, I'm like, man,
establish it.
The goal is the jab. Just people don't realize with those 4-ounce gloves on, it's a weapon.
Like if you want to get down like 4 times with just a jab,
and that's all you need. Like what, especially if you, and I obviously people are usually more based in striking. So if you don't want to be fighting takedowns and all that stuff, why don't you stay out as long as you can? Stay on the outside edge of that, where you can see those shots come in, just touch them up with the jab. The thing is, 5 minutes getting punched in the face with 4-ounce gloves, your face is going to be a mess.
Yeah.
I call it the death of 1,000 cuts. So we just want to go out there and just beat that face up, beat that body up with that jab for the first 5 minutes, and you'll find a finish after that. So yeah, anyways, enough about me. I don't have a UFC champion, so I can't really talk that much. But Trevor obviously did a really good job. What I like about him too is he does a really good job wrangling the fighters mentally while they're fighting and in between rounds. You know, he knows what to say, which I've always thought was really important. Um, he gives them very specific instructions in between rounds. He's not one of those rah 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 guys where he's like, "This is your fight, you gotta go." You know, it's like, can I get a combination or like a direction to move in or something? Like, I know it's my fight.
Get some
I'm
information
in
and
here, motherfucker. Like,
like
yeah, how about you be
formulate a
a
plan.
coach? You know, there's people in the crowd yelling the same shit you're telling me right now. Like, get out of my face. People, you know, people know if you follow me on Facebook, usually I'm almost every time there's a fight, you hear me on there bitching about a coach being like, you gotta go or whatever, you know. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I think that's your job, is to tell them what to do, or at least suggest something, and try to tell them, you know, you obviously, you got to give them a couple like smart things, you know, and you can't overload them. You got to tell them like, hey, you
One
need
or
to do
two.
this
Like, yeah,
more.
yeah.
This is, you're getting hit with this, so you know, keep this hand up or circle this way. You know, first things first, you gotta get them breathing, make sure they get their heart rate down, and then, you know, you gotta get them mentally prepared to get back in there. So Trevor really excels at that. He knows exactly what to say. He's the other thing he's good at it, and you can tell how much respect they have for him, because anytime the fight starts to get a little wild, you can hear him pulling them back and being like, no, 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 that's not what we trained. That's not how we trained, you know?
Right.
He did really good with that with Gaethje. He did it with Kamaru last night. You could tell, because there's bad blood between these two guys, where they're obviously both wanting to win, since they're coming off of being teammates together. And Usman obviously not happy about comments that Burns had made about, you know, wanting his belt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
know those
listen, they're in the
weaknesses.
same
Like
weight
what?
class. Like, yeah, I can. It's hard. It's a weird situation, because you can kind of understand both sides from the outside in. You know, obviously, everyone who's fighting wants to be a champion at some point, and I totally understand Usman being a little bit like, "Damn, dog, like, this is my belt." You know, like, we've been working together all this time. You're just gonna have to wait. You know,
Yeah.
so I feel like I can understand both sides. And um yeah, when the fight started to get a little hairy, you could hear Trevor um get, you know, telling
Tell him.
Mara
Yeah.
to calm down, you know, and he went right back to his jab, even switched stances, and made it into a cross from southpaw a little bit too, and just went to work with that thing. He was throwing more kicks than he usually does
Yeah.
too, which was good.
I think if it like had went to that scrap, I think Burns has more like say like knockout
Yeah, he's got
pressure
that
in that
show
situation.
stopping
Yeah.
power for sure.
So
100%.
like he won the smart way,
He
especially after
did.
that first round. That first round, it was again like with Trevor calming him back down, because that
Mhm.
first round didn't look amazing.
No.
Um, you know, and he came back out and set the tone after that.
Yeah, Burns caught Kamaru with an 8. That's one of our favorite punches here at the gym as well. That's you know, the rear hook. A lot of people, a lot of the gyms, a lot of coaches don't like that punch. It's always been a big staple for us here, and we've had a lot of success with it. And yeah, he came right over the top and caught him with that 8. Um, Looked like he had Kamaru in a little bit of trouble there. Kamaru said he was okay in the post fight, but it seemed, I mean, regardless, he hit him hard enough to make Kamaru put both hands on the
When he's on
canvas.
the yeah.
So that he's got that type of one shot power for sure. So this, you know, that's another thing, and not to keep going back to myself, I'm gonna stop after this, but um, you know, I have the guys here, and girls, obviously, ladies, obviously, the first couple rounds, especially lately, because I know I have some people that are gonna want to make that transition into MMA. We'll do all jab sparring. If you're not having a good time in the exchanges, if the other person is kind of getting out on you with combinations and hooks and stuff like that, like, the jab is what beats those, you know, because you can be long, you're right down the middle, it's a straight line. Like, you got to find that jab. So it was a simple, very smart, effective game plan from Trevor Whitman. Usman went out there and executed it, and retained the title. It was a hell of a fight. It was exciting. It's one of those things too where there's obviously some good buildup because no matter what, we all like the drama.
Yeah.
We're all like, yeah, this is gonna be good because
You
you
got to
see the
fight each
back
other
and
anyway.
forth.
Might as well hate each other too.
Yeah, of course. And they're pissed. Like everyone's gonna buy in if they're like, yeah, he's my best friend. It's kind of like, it might be a good fight, it might not. But
Yeah.
yeah, even all the way up to the glove touch. Burns reached out. Usman said nope and went back. And he was like, we're all business right now. And then afterwards, so they had, I think after round one, Burns kind of smiled like, hey, what's up? And Kamaru was like, yeah, all right. And then I think it was either round 2 or 3. Then they were like in each other's face a little bit. Like it was like, all right, it's serious.
Yeah.
And the ref had to break them up a little bit. And then at the end, they had their moment. Burns obviously really upset about losing. You know, who wants to lose a championship fight? Very understandable. And Kamaru did, give him a big hug. They had, some private words there. And Kamaru said in the post fight that he told him he was proud of him. And so, yeah, they squashed it. I think they're going to end up having a fight again at some point because I do feel like Burns is going to keep making his way back through that division because his specialty is on the ground and smashing these guys on the feet. So he's dangerous. So I think there's a good chance that you'll see them fighting again. The lead up might be a little different next time because obviously, well, we'll see. Maybe they won't. Yeah, it's a good fight. And now I guess we'll see what's next. I know Leon Edwards and Colby Covington, there's talks of them two fighting. And I guess the winner will get a shot potentially at Usman. But Usman's already beat Colby. Usman's going to be another one of those champions that I think ends up having to fight some of these guys multiple times. Unless he decides to make the move to middleweight now that Israel's dabbling at 205. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think those two will fight each other though, because they're buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, brother. Well, so since it's Valentine's Day, we were thinking about we were gonna do a you know what I love thing. Maybe this will become a thing for years to come, where we do when we do a Valentine's Day episode, we'll do a you know what I love thing. So we're gonna just touch on some random things that we love. So I'll let you go first, Rob. What you got?
All right. So, you know what I love?
What's that?
How many creative outlets people have these days.
Yes.
It's a way lot easier to like get whatever it is that you like to do, whether it's like making videos, painting, poetry, selling art out to an audience for them to enjoy. So I appreciate, like the advancement in technology that allows that to happen. As I definitely imagine like sometime way long ago, there's somebody who didn't get that, he has an attic full of paintings that he never got to show anybody.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I think it's a beautiful thing.
I agree. That's a really good point. There's so many ways that you can put your stuff out there. And depending on how you approach it now, you could even become a business from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's, you guys out there, if your kids are telling you, like, they want to play video games for a living, like it's possible.
Right. Was, I mean, in the 80s, if when kids told their parents that, they would have probably got hit with a ruler or something. And now you could be a kid and do it right now. You get on
There's a pro, I think 16-year-old right now, out there playing, like, and he's doing his thing,
Is that the Kenichi guy?
I would have to get his name, but
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
So there's a Kenichi Damn, now I feel bad because I'm like, I know it's Kenichi something, but I want to make sure I get his Instagram correct. I actually want to reach out to him and see if we can get him on. I know he's a streamer. Um, yeah, Kenichi Bear Official is his Instagram handle. I actually saw him in, excuse me, Sadiq Youssef, UFC fighter from here in Maryland. I saw him on his stories because he was like, this 16-year-old streamer has his own headphone, like streaming headphone stuff that he like released. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah, exactly what you're saying. You know, like this is a kid who streams probably obviously professionally, he's probably doing really well with it, and decided to launch his own brand of headphones. Obviously has merch and stuff like that too. So yeah, I just think that's amazing. You're absolutely right. You know, let's see what his link tree's got going on. Yeah, he's got the his official Twitch with Kenichi Bear. And then shop now for, yeah, I think he's got his merch and he's got all of his headphones. Yeah, he's got the headphones with the, it's really cool. I'll pop a picture of them up here on the screen with the headset. So they're like streaming headphones.
Yeah. You're a 16-year-old, you got your own gear? Like what?
Right. That's amazing. And you know, obviously you need to have there's got to be some type of backing or something like that, but you know, between Kickstarter and GoFundMe and just having enough followers,
so many outlets, man.
yeah, there's a way. Yeah. No, you're right about that. That is really exciting. I mean, we are trying to do the same thing. Even and we want to launch this. We're trying to launch this podcast and you know, get more eyes on your Twitch. Obviously, super important to both of us. And my ultimate goal with this is to eventually lead into like a media app. I want to help cultivate other content makers, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or whatever, because there's a bunch of teams like that out on the West Coast, and I want to try to kind of put something together here on the East Coast and get a bunch of people collaborating and kind of helping each other grow. And you know, we'll see how it shapes up. It might be something where it ends up being like an app, which I'm kind of thinking. I'm trying to think about that now, so I'm setting things up to head that way. Yeah, because it could be, you know, if it could be an app that's, because like for me now, everything I do is through Apple TV at home on my television screen. So if we could watch the podcast, we can get some kind of link to Twitch on there too, so that they could watch through there and still do everything, maybe something like that, you know. And then obviously original content. I have tons of show ideas and stuff, so it's just a matter of collaborating with a bunch of people and eventually getting that going. But yeah, 100%. That's a really good point, and it's very exciting times. If you're willing to put the work in, you know, you can get some stuff out of it. So you know what I love?
What do you love?
Man, I love how sometimes music's like time traveling. There's a thing on my phone. It's on Apple Music that says, what is it? I think it's just like, it says like Jason's Jason Farrell's station. That's all it says. And this thing knows me. If you click on it, it really does play like a lot of music that I like, stuff that I listened to before, you know, a long time ago, obviously, and it recommends like new songs for me and stuff. So it's just like a iTunes radio station that really has a good algorithm because it picks a lot of good music. And Elevators from AT Aliens popped up today from Outkast. And I was like, man, I've clicked from there right onto that album. And there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of music like that, but this album in particular, like I like feel like I'm back in 1996 when I listen to this. So there's a couple of songs on there in particular for sure, but it's wild how like certain songs like can take you back to it's like an emotional time travel. Like it like takes you back to like that emotion that you had when you were listening to that song.
You remember what you felt the first time, like the song played. Yeah,
that's wild, right? You get that too.
I just had it because again I just moved, so I'm like still like finding places for all the things,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna grab it, but I have like I think the first iPad Nano that
Oh
ever
shit.
came out, right? And it
Yeah, yeah.
survived so many things. I don't know why the rest of like the stuff that comes out these days, it got shot out of a lawnmower and still
Yeah.
works. I have its iPod connector where I can play, I hook it up to speakers, and I
Okay.
just hit that on while I was like, going through and finding places for things. And a playlist that I had, it's from the '90s, so like I had
Damn.
that experience today. I was just like, yo, ah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy how it takes you back. We there's a couple. It's wild because I think I listened to that album a lot, and there's like a couple. It's really crazy because I feel like I'm like jumping around when I listen to it because there's like a couple different songs that remind me of a couple different things. Um, and this one in particular, we used to on the weekends we used to go we just called it Metro and V Street. So V Street is actually V Street in DC, and then Metro was is a strip, the New Carrollton Metro here, right here in Maryland in New Carrollton. If you're coming off of 50, there's an exit ramp that like goes up and over, and then it drops you down into like where the parking garages and some business park and stuff is. So, anyways, back in 1996, that's where everyone used to street race. So
Mm.
that little strip there and V Street were like the two places. So if the cops came to the Metro one, then everyone would like dip out and go over to V Street, and then when they came to V Street, everyone would dip out and go back to Metro. And it was like Fast and the Furious, obviously before Fast and the Furious. This is like the real stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that album came out and we were like listening to it for the first time while we were down there. So just yeah, it takes me back to those times, those fun times as a kid, flying around doing crazy stuff and having fun listening to that music for the first time. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's interesting how music can do that. And it can be fun, it can be sad even sometimes, you know.
Can be, yeah.
But today listening to Outkast, nothing but good stuff. So what else you got, big dog?
All right. Well, something else that I love is family,
Yes.
and not particularly the family that you're born into this life with, but the family that you make as you grow up.
Yeah.
Um, was like I'll be honest, this is my extended family. They don't have my number. Like I don't hear from them on like a regular basis. But like people like Jason,
Hey.
uh, like the family that you grew up with, like your real family at that point, the people that
Yeah.
have your back. So is I don't know. There's something I feel like that's beautiful about a trust that develops, then rather than like a trust that you or people think you're supposed to have.
Like you owe it to him or something almost.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
like you're
feel
my
you.
uncle, like me and my like but like who knows what interactions you've had there,
Yeah, for
like how
sure.
that goes and whatnot. So I've never been like I don't know. I've always been that weird kid that like that, like thought at like different levels because people are like, oh no, like I love my mom, and I was like, well, I love my mom for like these reasons.
Yeah.
I don't. It's more than that. She like she birthed me.
Right.
So it's the sacrifices they make for their kids and all that other stuff. So
Yeah.
again, love family and not necessarily the ones you're born with.
No, that hits home with me big time too. And the feelings mutual, brother. So the yeah, I've definitely become super close to a lot of people through the gym, obviously, and spend more time with people here. I think I was lucky. Obviously, I met my wife through the gym,
Mhm.
uh, and was super lucky that that worked out the way that did. 'Cause I'd probably be single otherwise with this crazy schedule that I have. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I actually have a really big family, and I'm not really in touch with any of them, that especially on my dad's side. My dad's side had a really big family that are all here in Maryland. And after he passed away for whatever reason, they didn't really stay in touch with me. It's one of those things that like
Mhm.
when it early on, because I used to see them a lot when he was around. So here you go. 1996 is when he passed away. that same year that album came out. So I
Oh my
I had a
gosh,
lot going on in '96. So that's why I'm saying that album was a special album. But yeah, he's got a couple sisters, he's got brothers in it. For whatever reason, it's to be fair too, obviously times are different now with social media. It's so much easier to keep in touch with people. Like back then,
yeah.
they would have actually had to have like a phone number and address to get in touch or whatever. But I don't know. And they didn't really make an effort, and I guess I didn't either. And it's one of those things where I don't know. It just is what it is, I guess.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I don't have any ill will to them. I've had one of my aunts, Dorothy, who's definitely made more attempts since finding me on social media to like stay in touch with me over the years. And then of course, my Facebook account got deleted because of the
Mhm.
freaking UFC hating on me for giving them free advertisement by resharing their videos. We'll have to get into that one day too. So yeah, that's why I'm Peter Parker on Facebook and not Jason Farrell. So I kind of lost touch with them again. But yeah, I've never really felt like I lacked a sense of family because, like you said, I definitely feel the same way where I've gotten people that I chose to be close to, and
Right.
those are the people that you appreciate having in your life, I think, even more. That's what's up, brother. That's a good one. Damn, now I feel like this one is kind of lame. I'm like doing like lame shit. So or just like random things. So you know what else I love? The old
What else?
K1 kickboxing game. I should have did
Oh
this one first
yeah.
now because this one doesn't really have any
Level
like
it down.
emotional
Yeah.
value. Yeah, I'm like going down. But man, this was like one of the best fighting games that's ever been. Maybe I'll edit this and like flip flop them. This is like
Got power.
the
Yeah.
best fighting game I think ever made. It was back in the early 2000s, I believe, made by THQ, which is not in business anymore, I don't think.
Mm,
And it was awesome. It was a K1 Grand Prix based K1 game, so it had all heavyweight legends in there like Mirko Cro Cop, Remy Bonjanski, Ernesto Hus, Semi Schilt, Stefan Lecco, Francisco Fio. Like I could go on and on, just tons of awesome people. But Ray Cepho. But what made it really exciting was, obviously you have four buttons,
mm.
and they have four limbs.
Yeah.
So like one button controlled all four of those. So like if you know how to fight, like this was a game that you could like kick somebody's ass on because I'm like jab jab cross. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could do that. Like you could make it, and then you use the joystick to make a strike go to the body or head, and then
Yeah.
same thing with your legs. You could make it a low kick, a body kick, or a head kick, and then
Mm,
it had an indicator next to their like power bar that was like a body that was all flashing green. And if you
mm.
started damaging one part, it would get yellow, and then eventually it would get red. And you knew, okay, like they're a couple low
That's
kicks away from getting a knockdown.
yeah.
And if you got three of them in a row, you could, and then obviously, so you like knew where to target a little bit more. You could have that game plan of like,
Hmm.
I'm going to go to the body a lot in this first round or whatever. And it also had flash knockouts, which made it really exciting too. Because sometimes you would just catch somebody perfect, and they'd be like KO, which is you're like, oh shit, and or if you got knocked out, you're like fuck.
Yeah.
So it was probably the most um, realistic fighting game ever, which made it a lot of fun. And only it was came out on PS2. And
I remember it being on a PlayStation. I just don't
yeah, it was
remember what
old.
it was. Yeah.
I
No,
got I got it in a GameStop out of a bin for like $6. I was like, oh man,
nice.
I got a K1 game. That's dope. I didn't even know about it.
Mm,
And still, because so I have a PS3, I have a first generation PS3. So those ones when they first came out were
we're
backwards
backwards
compatible. They're
compatible.
the only
Yeah.
ones. So I was still able to play the K1 game on that one. And then that my PS3 died on me again. But I think I'm gonna take it and get it fixed and bring it here to the gym so we can have some
Something.
K1
Yeah.
tournaments, have some
Nice.
throwdowns here. Yeah, I think that'd be sick.
Yeah. No, I remember. I think I remember the exact game you're talking about. Something my father, like, he dabbles in his games.
Yeah.
Uh, he doesn't see me in any of the games that I play,
Mm-hmm.
but like whenever we hang out, like he plays around with all the sports ones, and he plays around with all the fighting game stuff.
Yeah.
And like the realistic ones, not the Street Fighter. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he gets his revenge.
Oh
I'll say
shit.
that. Like, he definitely, because like I don't play them in my off time,
Right.
and because it's his thing, I refuse to buy the game and learn it myself.
I feel
So
you.
like my first times are every time that he got over there. So K1 he beat me in.
Yeah.
Um, I got good at Madden just by trade because he
Yeah. Yeah.
kept
Yeah.
making me play that one.
Yeah.
Um, I'll never beat him in an NBA game.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. I don't understand how they do the release stuff buttons or all that other crap now. And UFC, I got him for a bit.
I was gonna say, yeah.
UFC, I got him for a bit.
Yeah.
He didn't understand grappling at all,
Right. Right.
or how to
Right.
like get out of it. So I was just like, you're just gonna eat these knees until you learn that.
You just take
Until
them
you
down and
learn,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, I just saw so crazy thing the other day because I was telling one of our students here, Shola, who streams by the way also. Um I'll have to throw his thing up on here too so people
He
can check
followed me.
him out.
I know
You
that.
did,
Yeah,
Shola? All
he
right,
did.
good. Good job, Shola. Yeah, so I'm gonna I was telling him about the K1 game. 'Cause he was saying something about I guess he streams too, and he said that he actually streams a lot of old PS2 games. And I was like, "Oh, well, you should stream the K1." He was like, "What? What K1 game?" So
Yeah, we put
um
him up to it.
I was trying to find a YouTube link to it, and then I stumbled onto some other guy's video, I guess UFC 3 before they switched over to EA or whoever does it now. I haven't played any
Yeah.
of the newer ones for a long time. They had a pride mode
Mm.
where it was in the ring and they had a bunch of the pride fighters from that time and you could stomp on the head and had the 10-minute first round. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to download that.
Right.
So I'm about to download the that UFC 3 game and so I can get my pride mode on. They had a pride game too back
They do.
before all that was made by the THQ also. It was also really sick. It had like Vanderlei Silva, Dan Henderson, Heath Herring. They had a really sick roster on there too. So that was like the original MMA game that came out before UFC and all that stuff. They had a
Yeah.
really you could take people down, you could fight in the clinch, you could submit from the bottom and stuff like that. That game was actually pretty tight too. And they had a really good creative player game on there as well.
I love those.
So you could since there wasn't a UFC game back then, like I made like Tito, I made Chuck, I made
Yeah.
all those guys, and I
Just
had
put 'em
them
in.
in there for people to use. So we would have some major throwdowns at my house on the Pride and me and my best friend growing up, Drew. We talked about him, mentioned him on the last podcast too. We had some battles on the K1 game all the time. And
Nice.
we would always do the random select. So we would let the
Mm.
computer select who we
Oh,
fought
just
with.
yeah.
Yeah, so that would, because
That's
it
tough.
makes it more exciting because you're like, oh man, if you got somebody you didn't like and you had to figure out a way to use them. After a month or two of that, obviously we were good with everybody because we used them all. But for
Mm.
some reason, we always the computer loved to have us both be Francisco Fieldho. So we have this funny thing still to this day. I'll randomly text him out of the blue and be like, I'm the better Fieldho. And he does the same thing. He always brings it up. It's always super funny because we used
No,
to have
that's
these
awesome.
battles of who was the
Yeah.
better Francisco Fieldho. So yeah, man, you should. We should figure. I'm gonna take that because Sholo was telling me about a place in College Park that can fix my PS3. So I think I'm gonna take it over there one day this week and get it fixed up.
Mhm.
And maybe come down one weekend and we can stream the K1 game.
As soon as the military lets me.
Oh, that's right. You can't go anywhere.
I can't leave the state.
Or maybe we can figure out a way for me to stream the video to you or something. I don't know. We should figure something out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it
But
up
yeah,
there.
when you're able to, I think it'll be more fun. Because I think I am I think I'm gonna bring it here and set it up, and just for fun, like do some kickboxing tournaments through
Yeah.
the K1 thing. I think it'll be fun for the students and stuff like that. Just give them something to do outside of kicking and punching each other in the head.
Right.
Yeah,
Virtually.
maybe we'll, yeah, virtually. Maybe we'll bust out the old um fight night game too, so for the boxers they can
Fight night, the box. I knockout
love that joint, man.
was like that was my back
Yeah,
then.
those were tight.
Back then. Yeah.
But man, back when there was one of the fight nights where they got like really heavy into like all the stuff that you can do. And I, being a very technical striking person, I actually really liked one of the original fight night ones where you could just go in there and fucking slug it out. It was just fun.
Yeah.
I like those. It's fun on the video game. Obviously, that's not how I want to be in real life. But yeah, it was fun. I feel like sometimes they add a little too much shit, and you're like, all right, come on, it's still
like now you got to read the manual and go through
I gotta like learn how to slip.
I just can't play. Yeah.
there was one that came out on the 360 where like I could literally never get back up if I got knocked down. I just couldn't get that. Like you had to like use both joysticks to like get your man. And I was like, once I got knocked down, like the game was over. I think I played it for like 2 weeks and I was like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
No, they made it not fun. So what else you got, big dog? What else you got?
Right. So I stacked mine. I sandwiched mine. So I got the easy one and then I put the one in the middle. So
go ahead.
And on the lighter tone, something that I love is this is not necessarily family, but my audience.
Nice.
My the people that are coming around are willing to support the channel and all that other stuff. Because this last couple of years, I've had my highs, my lows, my ups and downs, and my stream hasn't been as consistent as someone who's looking for content would like expect, right? Yeah. But and again, these are people I've never met.
Right.
I've never physically. They're all just kind of names in like the virtual space of things.
Yeah.
And every time I come back, they're there.
Yeah.
You know,
that's badass.
And it's like it's the part that makes you feel bad for being gone, and it's the part that like you love when you come back.
Right.
You know, because like when you start doing these streaming things, unless you're extremely lucky, or you're talking to yourself for like 1 or 2 months, you know, and like every time you take a long break, you're like, all right, I got to go back to like just being entertaining to an empty audience. But it hasn't been that way for me. Like I come back and like 10, 20 people are just like, hey Titan, like where you been, what's going on, what are we doing this, are we gonna finish that? And then I'm like, you like, okay, thanks. And I have one shouts out to Kamaru, who I believe lives in Europe. Somewhere over there, right? So he's not even on the same like time zone I am, but like if he has like a clock where he's like, I haven't seen Titan in like a couple of like days or whatnot, and he just he shoots me a message, he's like, hey Titan, like how's it going?
Right.
I'm like, oh, and like when he messaged me, I'm like, I've been gone for too long.
Yeah.
So
we
can go find some time to stream and make content. So I just want to say like I love my fans, I love my audience, and I appreciate you guys for just being there and know that like I am still striving to become the streamer that you all deserve.
Yeah. So that's dope. And I will fully let you guys know too that because I've always asked, Roger, like how's how's everything going with the stream stuff? Because I'm just fascinated by it. I think it's so cool. And he's my brother, so I want to see him become one of the biggest out there. And he always would be man, I'm on times when he wasn't, like, I haven't been doing it as much, like the way that he would tell me, you got to understand, like it hurt him, and he knows that he wants to be there, and stuff comes up, and that's just life. Unfortunately, sometimes things get in the way, but I know you've been, because I always ask you, I know you've been on it a lot more the way you want to be lately, and I think that's awesome, man. I think you got an amazing personality. Obviously, that's why I wanted you to be part of the show, and not to mention the fact, like you said, that we're like family here, but yeah, I think your channel is going to be a big one. The more you're on there, so that's awesome, man. I appreciate them too.
All
All
right.
right, so I got
Let's
my
wrap
my
this up. What
last
do you
one.
got?
I'll
What do you got?
yeah. You know what I love?
What do you love?
My wife. I got one too for you.
Hey, good
Yeah,
answer.
man.
Good answer.
Yeah, I love my wife. So for people that I feel like most of the people that are watching this probably already know Erin, my wife, Dr. Doom. Um, we met as coach and instructor for a long time, liked each other and didn't know. Uh, it was one of those situations where I knew as she started training that she was gonna be who she is in the fight game for sure. She, I spotted her potential, and so it was like one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to fuck that up. So I had to make sure, for sure, that I wasn't going to before we made that move. And it was definitely the best decision of my life. We got married in 2017, and she's amazing. I mean, she's the thing that keeps me going. She's always got my back. Like like I think that was probably the thing that I was looking for in life more than anything. It was just like that having one person that you know for sure, like, all right, I got Aaron,
It's
let's go.
there.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
And
like,
she's and I feel fortunate to have some a lot of people that I feel like I could call on like that, but I don't even have to call on Aaron. Like, she's just there always. Um Being a gym owner during this time has not been easy for any gym owner, not just
right.
me. It's just being a business owner, even shit. I mean, any type of business since COVID has been pretty scary to have. And without her, the gym would be closed 100%. There's no way
Mm.
that I would have got through this time without her. Because there were some days where I was just like, I don't give a shit anymore. Not that I don't give a shit, but I just,
This is
you get
hard.
you get to a
It's like,
point where you're
yeah.
just like, yeah, it's not gonna make it.
Mm.
Uh, and she's just such a thorough like worker and just fighter, which is obviously what's made her such a success in everything that she does. Um, she was always like, nope, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and this is how it's gonna get done. And I'm just like, yes, ma'am. She's the boss. So yeah, I won't embarrass her too much. Hopefully she sees this, but um, she has to hear me all week. So if she doesn't feel like sitting through an hour of me talking, I can understand too. But yeah, I love her to death, and very grateful and fortunate to have her in my life. Uh, yeah, that's it. Happy Valentine's Day, Aaron.
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone else.
Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. I hope you guys like this episode. We did this one this week without a guest. The plan originally was to do every other episode, just me and Roger. And we're gonna get back to that plan once we get through this first run of guests. We have people lined up all the way through April. We got really lucky and got a lot of cool people lined up, and I already have a bunch of people that are on board that we just need to lock down with a date. But at this point, it's so far out, it seems kind of weird to be like, hey, are you free in like the last weekend of May?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we've been really lucky. So we love you guys too for supporting us, and obviously everyone that's already been on the show and planning to come on the show. We really appreciate you guys too. We, like I said, we have a lot of big plans for the YouTube channel, and beyond that, obviously, like with the app and the website that we're got in the works and stuff like that. So we appreciate you guys as well too.
All right.
Awesome, man. Well, I guess that we'll have like a little bit shorter of a one this week, and wanted to just kind of catch up, go over some things, and uh do some little love stories, if you will, since it's Valentine's Day, and let everybody know what we love and appreciate. And we'll be back next week with Brian Butler of Sucker Punch Entertainment. who's one of the best managers in MMA, if not the best. I mean, the list of people that he's brought to the UFC and Bellator and champions is just insane. He's a hell of a guy. Uh, you can almost always catch him rocking an Urban Ninja T-shirt too when he trains with a lot of the fighters as well, and he'll have Urban Ninja T-shirts on, which is just super cool. Another thing that we've been fortunate about to have support in that way, even too, just to level up in the Urban Ninja shirts that you'll randomly see pop up on people is always really cool. But so we're super excited to have Brian on and get a look inside of that side of the game, because that's a whole other aspect that a lot of people don't really get to see much of. Yeah, that's going to be a good episode. I'm really excited about that one for sure. Cool, brother. Well, yeah, we sign off, huh?
Yeah.
All right, big dog. I'll see you next week. Guys, also we will be dropping a reaction video to the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer that dropped today. So if you are seeing this video before you see that video, stay tuned at the end of this and you'll see a link for that as well too.
Awesome. Again, I'm doing
guys.
a blind run. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. We're out.